Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and Jamaicans abroad on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Stay with us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on Both Sides of the Story by calling our local numbers 876-922-4112-5. You can listen to Both Sides of the Story on the Power 106 FM app via the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, as well as on onespotmedia.com. Plus, listeners in the USA can dial 631-359-8281 to listen.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
You got it? Okay.
Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session, hour 106.
Quotations this afternoon from Animal Farm, which is recorded as a beast fable in the form of a satirical, allegorical novella by George Orwell, first published in England on the 17th of August, 1945. It tells the story of a group of farm animals who rebel against their human farmer, hoping to create a society where the animals can be equal, free, and happy. Ultimately, the rebellion is betrayed, and under the dictatorship of a pig named Napoleon, the farm ends up in a state as bad as it was before. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Animals and humans are equal. However, they have differences, and some of these are acceptable, while some are not. The acceptance of such differences makes such people and their way of life the norm. Weak or strong, clever or simple, we're all brothers. Even though we have differences between us, we're still equal and together. After all, we are created by nature. And remember also that in fighting against man, We must not come to resemble him. Even when you have conquered him, do not adopt his vices. When you fight against your enemies, fight in the righteous way. This is done by not adopting their ways. We need to rise above them. Let's face it, our lives are miserable, laborious, and short. Life is full of difficulties. They are inevitable and universal. Also, we live in this world for a limited period of time. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. Liberty is all about having freedom. This also includes freedom of speech, where you sometimes have to listen to uncomfortable things. We need to accept such things wholeheartedly. Man serves the interests of no creature except himself. Man is selfish. He exploits his fellow beings as well as nature, which gave him life. He only cares about his own interests. Do not imagine, comrades, that leadership is a pleasure squealer. Leadership isn't an easy thing. It comes with a lot of work and responsibilities. A good leader is the one who does them diligently. I have no wish to take life, not even human life. We should not take somebody's life. By doing this, we violate their right to live. This includes the life of our enemies and oppressors as well. And then quoting Napoleon, the leader, his answer to every problem, or citing the behavior generally of Napoleon. So this person says his answer to every problem, every setback was, I will work harder, which he had adopted as his personal motto. When you work harder, you move a step towards success. Eventually, by being persistent, you get rewarded for your efforts. Here's another quotation. The only good human being is a dead one. Human beings go through a lot of suffering and make others suffer as well. Thus, when they die, they no longer do the same to others. Question from Snowball. Can you not understand that liberty is worth more than ribbons? Liberty is about being free from all limitations and restrictions. With this, you're able to do the things which your heart desires.
I can see all obstacles on all the dark clouds. It's gonna be a bright, bright sunshine. It's gonna be a bright, bright sunshine day. Oh yes, I can make it now. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been waiting for. It's gonna be a bright sunshine day. There's nothing but blue sky. storm. I can feel all obstacles in my way. Here it's a rainbow I'm praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
The month of February is still being observed as Heart Month and Reggae Month here in Jamaica and all around the world. Black History Month is being observed. Today is National Leadership Day. We did do a little feature on that yesterday afternoon. And today is what? Tuesday. Hoy es martes, el 20 de febrero 2024. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mardi le 20 février 2024 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Educate yourself. Take charge of your financial future and read a few basic books on personal finance. It is helpful to develop a basic investment vocabulary. It's also important to understand some basic investment principles such as risk and reward and asset allocation. Once armed with knowledge, don't let anyone take you off track. Whether a significant other who encourages you to waste money or friends who plan expensive trips and events you can't afford. Research professionals like financial planners, mortgage lenders, or accountants before utilizing their services.
Good afternoon, those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, whichever you prefer. And downloading is free. Listening is also free. Let's remind you of the numbers to call if you wish to participate in the program. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And so we look forward to your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And as we said, the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Let's clear some of these messages. Donovan Campbell says, good day, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Good day, Donovan Campbell. Thank you very much for tuning in. Good to have you on board. Hello as well to Peter Barclay. Thank you, Peter Barclay, for joining us. Audrey Smith out of Southampton in England. Inez Ayona Campbell, somewhere between Jamaica and Bridgeport, Connecticut. Valerie Weller Carpeck says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Valerie Weller Carpeck. Good to have you on board as well. And keep those messages flowing in. We have some leftover messages as well from yesterday. Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, Mr. Malcolm, the debate Saturday night with the two political parties reminded me of the boxing match between Mike Tyson and James Buster Douglas. Mr. Mackenzie was touted as Mike Tyson, and if you ask me, Mr. Mackenzie was floored twice. Twice he get two telling blows that stagger him. Well done, says Horace, otherwise known as Spider. That's his perspective on the debate on Saturday night. Reverend Dr. Frank Lawrence, otherwise known as Free Villager, says, greetings and blessings, Brother Dervan. As a pariah municipal council observer since 1947, I must conclude that very little has changed by way of governance patterns. The failure of achieving administrative autonomy is a sad picture in the history of local government. It is time that the authorities unearth and look at the local government reform document known as the Brownstown Report, which was done in the 1950s. Real democracy must be realized at the local level for effectiveness. I have seen this in other jurisdictions in which I participated, says Reverend Dr. Frank E. Lawrence, otherwise known as Free Villager. Thank you very much for your message, Free Villager. Good to hear from you, and all the very best. Barry has also messaged us, but looks more like a Facebook link, and we're not seeing anything beyond the link itself right now. But thank you for sharing, and perhaps when we're able to find a little time, we'll take a look at it. And let's see. Let's go down the line here. Information session. Oh, that's happening today. All right, let's move on. And this one says, good morning and happy Tuesday. Well, it's afternoon now, but happy Tuesday to you nonetheless. And those with access to WhatsApp have been using WhatsApp as well to get their political messages out ahead of the local government election. And who is this now? This is the listener who goes by the moniker Love Groove Music BMI. And he says, hi, Dervan. This is Calvin Hodge Lake. Bob Marley's box office sales only earned 44 million US dollars. Only, you say? Okay. It should have doubled after spending US 70 million to produce the movie. Over time, these sales must catch up through digital sources to make a profit. I feel the initial sales should have over 100 million US dollars. Have a great day. Calvin Hodge Lake from Love Groove Music Publishing Company, BMI, USA. Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada is Calvin of a different color, in a manner of speaking. And in terms of demeanor and posture and all of these things. And this one, Franklin MacDonald, as usual, he never stops researching and sharing that which he unearths. But this story is, let's see, seems to be focused on Jovenel Moïse. Let's see if that is an update or otherwise. Let's see. Taking a while to download. Still taking a while. And we'll have to come back to this story as much as okay, it seems to be moving a little faster now. So we should be able to get in a bit of this story. The widow and aides, AIDS, of assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moïse are indicted in his killing. A judge in Haiti responsible for investigating the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse has indicted his widow, Martine Moïse, ex-Prime Minister Claude Joseph, and the former chief of Haiti's National Police, Léon Charles. We'll see. A judge in Haiti responsible for investigating the July 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moïse has indicted his widow, Martine Moïse, ex-Prime Minister Claude Joseph, and the former chief of Haiti's National Police, Léon Charles, among others, according to a report obtained Monday. The indictments are expected to further destabilize Haiti as it struggles with a surge in gang violence and recovers from a spate of violent protests demanding the resignation of current Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Dozens of suspects were indicted in the 122-page report issued by Walter Wessner Voltaire, who is the fifth judge to lead the investigation. And since the subject of Haiti was just brought up, here's a reminder of how long ago this situation has been besetting Haiti. In fact, we can go back to, when was this now? This one, we have it here somewhere. We have it here somewhere. Where is it? So this was a similar situation that Haiti is in right now. Similar situation unfolded some years ago, and we wanted to find it to share the. Here we go. 2004. In 2004, the story was Jamaica has signaled that it will give humanitarian assistance and considers itself legally obligated to the Haitians arriving here. This is 2004 in Jamaica. Jamaica has signaled that it will give humanitarian assistance and considers itself legally obligated to the Haitians arriving here as they flee political violence that has killed dozens in their strife-torn country. At a meeting held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade on this day in 2004, the meeting was unanimous in the view that Jamaica finally appreciated its immediate humanitarian and legal obligations to the Haitians and intended to discharge them. On Thursday, February 29, 2004, 20 Haitians arrived in Portland aboard a 15-foot boat dubbed One Love, pushing the number of Haitians landing in Jamaica at that time to 30 since Saturday, February 14, 2003. In fact, on this day in 2004, Haiti's embattled president, Jean-Bertrand d'Aristide, agreed to a peace plan put forward by United States-led foreign mediators in a bid to end an armed revolt that, at the time, capped months of political tension. So it's just a timely reminder of Haiti's situation, which has been that way for a long time, sadly, and it remains to be seen when Haiti will be liberated from that kind of environment. It remains to be seen. Thank you very much for the message. Was it a message? Which led us to searching for the information and retrieving it. All right, so let's clear some of the other messages here. So that was due to the link sent by let's go to the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2:30. Beneficiaries. The past payment cycle begins on February 19, 2024. Post offices and payment agencies will deliver payments based on last names up to March 4, 2024. Check the Weekend Star to find out when and where you should collect. If you miss your date, you must collect between March 5 and March 6, 2024. For more information, call Pat at 876-922-8007 or visit the ministry's website at www.mlss.gov.jm. Path, advancing your family, developing Jamaica. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets, and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers, and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old tires or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And let's see what we have here. This one says, Dear Dervan, happy Tuesday to you. The debate between the PNP and the JLP was an interesting one. The JLP came out looking very good. Unfortunately, the PNP was disappointing. How can they be vying for power and be so unprepared? Only the blind or those or who can't see would say Desmond Mackenzie got floored. He was far more superior than all the debaters combined. His depth, his knowledge, and his grasp of the issues shows that he is Mr. Local Government. I'm looking forward to another JLP win, says this person who goes by the moniker GBO. Okay, GBO. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Neville, otherwise known as Salah, says, Blessings, Dervan. I did not watch either of those debates. My belief is that they were a waste of time and money, 24 million in a time when hospitals have no beds or dialysis machines. Total waste of resources, Salah. Salah from Kingston and Leamington, Westmoreland. And somebody here is just saying hi. Hi to you too. Thank you very much for checking in. As we take more of your feedback, the numbers once again, 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5, and the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And this person, this is Patrick saying, Dervan, I don't support your quote. Not my quote at all. Not mine. Dervan, I don't support your quote when it said the man is created by nature. Why not give Almighty God his honor by saying man was created by him straight up? That's a good question for George Orwell, Patrick. I humbly submit that you put that question to George Orwell. Remember, this is a space where different people of different thought processes who express themselves differently. So we can share that information as long as it is in good taste, and we can also discuss that which is being put forward. So let's keep it going here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Norman Hines, good afternoon to you too. Faye Weller says, Blessed love, Mr. Dervan and faithful listeners. It is a blessing to learn from each other. I'm here listening, says Faye Weller. That's good to know, Faye Weller. Thank you very much for joining us, and all the very best to you and yours. Thank you. And while we're at it too, let's give you the usual update in terms of what's trending, especially for those who are too busy to follow the news and to catch up on the latest updates. So we're always happy to share the information with you. And a 23-year-old has been charged in relation to a deadly attack on a Trelawney teen and her family. That's the lead story online on the Gleaner's website, jamaica-gleaner.com. And the story is a man was on Monday charged in connection with a Trelawney home invasion that left a 15-year-old girl dead and her mother and a cousin injured. Charged with misprision of a felony is 23-year-old Timoy Brown, otherwise called Big Head, of Cotton Tree, Allside District in Trelawney. Misprision of a felony is when someone knows about a crime but fails to report it to the authorities. Schoolgirl Jamelia Cole and her family were at their home in Albertown, Trelawney on the early morning of Sunday, August 6, 2023, when they were attacked. The culprits inflicted several wounds on 3 of the 4 occupants. An 8-year-old girl managed to escape injuries. It was reported that 2 masked men entered the premises through a glass window. The men reportedly used pieces of board to beat the mother and the teen girls in their heads. Cole was raped, beaten, and left tied up in a yam field near her home. All 3 were subsequently taken to hospital, where Cole died. As part of the investigation, police, acting on information, apprehended Brown on Monday, February 12. According to the police, he admitted to having knowledge of the incident. He was later charged on Monday, February 19, and is awaiting a court date. So that's one of the stories trending at this time. And there are others, a couple of general stories from the political arena, and another unfortunate crash in which 2 were killed in Trelawney. So we still have more work to do in that area. Alfonso Grenell, I believe, will be joining us this afternoon. And he would want to use this moment, this opportunity, to speak to the nation on the subject of crashes and collisions in Jamaica and the implications for health sector and our people in general, and those who serve in the respective capacities of healthcare and related matters. So all things being well, Alfonso Grenell will join us for Safety Speaks. That's our feature, our Tuesday afternoon feature. Safety Speaks, that comes up at 3:30. That comes up at 3:30, so you want to listen out for that. And we'll see how it goes. So stand by for that coming up a little later on. Safety Speaks, brought to you by Grenell's Driving School, and the Managing Director of Grenell's Driving School, Alfonso Grenell, will join us in a little while. And we look forward to that. In the meantime, who is this now? That one went already. Please. Oh, this person. Oh, this came in. Trying to figure out. I think this was from the 12th of February that these messages came in. I think so. So the ones for today. Yeah, I think we exhausted those already. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on. All right, let's go down the line here and move to the next spot. Calvin, North York, Ontario, as usual. Hermin, Miss June in Oslo, Norway, is greeting us. She says, good evening. Jimmy Cliff brings me back memories about myself, the little country girl, says Miss June in Oslo, Norway. Thank you very much for sharing that experience with us, that nostalgic moment, Miss June. All the very best to you and your family. And this one from Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, Mr. Malcolm, that gentleman doesn't realize that Mr. Mackenzie has to go all the way in Hanover to find a well-run market, even though he has the biggest market in his backyard. Plus, he could not mention anything about Maypen Cemetery that is right at his gate. Thank you very much, Horace, otherwise known as Spider, for your perspective. Thank you for your message. And all the best to you as we continue to take your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's greet Mikey Morris in the Bronx, New York. He says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon, Mikey Morris. He goes on to say, blessed good day to you and your listeners of Power 106 FM radio station. Thank you, Mikey Morris. Sophia Nemard in Newell, St. Elizabeth is also with us. And Mikey Morris says, the PM depon hard campaign, no, because him want the councils to win, so him can't mash up the country more again, says Mikey Morris. David Crosburn is calling us on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelley Ann McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelley Ann McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Tune in every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner with Daily Walker Huntington, during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM. It's your source of information regarding U.S. immigration matters, combined with Power 106 FM's pioneer of diaspora broadcasting. Call in with your U.S. immigration queries and concerns on 876-9224-11225 or send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598 and get the answers you need for your U.S. immigration questions. That's Your Legal Corner with Daily Walker Huntington, Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm, only on Power 106 FM.
Yes, I can make it now, baby. So all of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been waiting for. This will be a bright, sunshiny day.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. David Crosby on the line. Good afternoon, Mr. Crosburn. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon to you and all your listeners at home and abroad.
Thank you on their behalf.
Yes. Thanks for the opportunity really to speak with you. I'll be as brief as I can. I just want to say thanks to Dr. Franklin Lawrence and Mr. Franklin McDonald for their contribution. It's really heartwarming. It's really their treasure trove of knowledge is really worth its weight in gold, you know. I deeply appreciate them for it.
And so say all of us. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, what I really want to just talk to quickly. I sent a letter to the press. I don't know if it has been released as yet, but seeing as it has been budget time, I say I would pen this letter to our editor, just to make an appeal that Jamaica should take the opportunity now to repurpose our monetary reserve. By this I mean we should notify the United Nations, tell them thanks for their quantification report, and to advise them that effective 2026, for the 30-year period, Jamaica's budget will be on the basis of 0.3 trillion US dollars. And in complement to that, notification to the United Nations, World Bank, and the persons that do the escapes my memory. But we can notify them that effective 2026 for the 30-year period, this is the route we will be going on. And along with that, prepare a debit note to the names of countries in their report that says this 9.4 million is to be paid to us. If we take this route, we'll be signalizing to the debtors that this is the route we are taking to recover what is outstanding to us, and then spend the period, the intervening period between now and 2026 to agree on what is the structure of our developmental budget hereafter. But I would say quickly I would start with education, health, environment, environmental, and I wouldn't really contribute or prescribe any large portion of our budget for crime fighting and so on, I would not. And I won't tell you why I would not at this moment. I'll tell you at another time. But I don't see it. If we can come to the understanding of the measures and as I told you repeatedly, my grandfather spent a long time in the police force, and he and his brother. And I don't think we are near where we should be or ought to be. We are very far. But I won't really speak on that. But just to tell you thanks for your contribution. Wish your program all the very best. And as I make this appeal, I hope that person will look around and support us taking a new path forward towards the recovery of what the United Nations in their quantification report stated, accurately calculated, that is outstanding for us to recover. All of our best, and to you and all your listeners.
Thank you too. Many happy returns. All the very best.
Okay, bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Take care. This is your program, Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon, Mr. Carter.
Yeah, good afternoon to your diaspora friends and family. And good afternoon to your valuable workers and your listeners and your precious caller. Dervan.
Yes, sir.
Your RJR Gleaner group, which is about 250 odd years old now, between the Gleaner and RJR.
Established in 1834.
Did you know that most of the buildings that you see downtown Kingston are the Gleaner Company, New Kingston? You know that they are owned by pension funds?
They are what?
They are owned by pension funds.
Okay.
And a lot of pension money is tied up in the rental of these buildings by the companies that operate them.
Well, it appears to me that they initially were quite conservative in their approach. And over time, they have grown more confident, literally and figuratively, to step out and maximize their returns.
Thank you, sir. Did you know that a critical analysis was done on the financial statement of the RJR Gleaner Group for last year?
That's usually done anyway, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they found RJR going to need more revenue in terms of advertisement.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mr. Malcolm, RJR Gleaner Group, on which most of our generation grew up, and listening to people like Alan Magnus, coming up when they're little boy go to primary school and all-age school and come right up. The RJR Gleaner Group should be the number one group of communication in the Caribbean, sir.
Yes, I've heard it said in that same way, yes.
I'm putting it on the board again that the RJR Gleaner Group need to establish a well-defined celebrity cabinet at all its locations across the island. And if they can put one in the outbound store at the international airport, so that they can sell merchandise of their wonderful radio and television persons, that listeners like me and others who want to make their contribution two individual program and the group at large can come in and buy a merchandise as a souvenir item. That's as part of our memoirs in a Dervan. In order to keep programs like yours on the air while we enter into the 2030 Great Reset and work forward into World War III. What do you say about that, Mr. Malcolm?
Well, I'm curious to see what happens next, actually.
Dervan,
Yes.
a man like you, Mr. Malcolm, if you buy all 1,000 handkerchiefs, and you get a fashion graphic artist to type to go on the computer and design your logo, your signature, and just stamp them on these kerchiefs. They sell like hot bread, you know. Because he's a man of all times, you know, Dervan. Whether you believe it or not, you are very valuable around here.
That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, let me tell you some breaking news that is going on, starting in Jamaica. Did you know that the Jamaica Defense Force will be conducting a military training exercise across 3 parishes between February 24th and February 28th, 2024?
Yeah, that's fairly often over time. They do that quite a lot, actually.
I wonder what they're training for.
We would have to think their training is concomitant with concomitant with the national security apparatus of Jamaica. Mm-hmm.
So Jamaica is under threat.
When are we never under threat? It's just that
From whom, my guru? From whom?
from our own people, for starters.
Hallelujah. So we are not Jamaica is under threat from its own people.
Yeah.
You know that they sank a British cargo ship in the Red Sea this morning. And they also shoot down American drone. You're Biden. You're Joe Biden, President of America. Iran will be held responsible because the weapon used by these Houthi rebels to do this damage were made in Iran. You think that is a fair statement, Mr. Malcolm?
They would have to maybe go to the international court.
So I'm saying no to Mr. Biden, never Carter to Joe Biden. All the guns that kill people and the gunshot that kill people in Jamaica, when they pick up the spent case and they do their forensic on it, made in America. Is America responsible for our killing of our people down here? Joe Biden? Well, what is really happening in the world, Mr. Malcolm?
Jimmy Cliff says the world is upside down.
Jimmy, that is the clip that you played for your promo today?
No, that's not the clip, but it's the same Cliff.
Jimmy Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Brazil these days. Very good reggae artist.
He's been living in Brazil for years. One of his favorite places.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Dervan, did you know that since the charge Donald Trump is 350 million, they have set up a GoFundMe account on YouTube to raise funds to pay the bill for Donald Trump.
I'm not surprised.
And Donald Trump has now established and is selling Donald Trump sneakers in order to raise money for his courthouse charges. And his sneakers now.
Hold a moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock.
This message is brought to you by the Jamaica Environment Trust.
We have a right to a healthy environment. And the law so don't break our belly. Anybody
I hope I'm not being presumptuous. Take care.
Thank you. You too. All the best.
All the best, my guru.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. Okay. All right. So we are in another 24 minutes or so. We will have this week's edition of Safety Speaks. And the host this week on Safety Speaks is Alfonso Grenell of Grenell's Driving School. And that's coming up in another 24 minutes. So stand by for that. In the meantime, we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Let's see if we can clear a few more messages at the same time. Sophia Nemard says, please say good afternoon to my grandmother, Miss Dulcie Brooks in Montreal, Canada. We're here listening to the program. That's good to know, Sophia Nemard. Greetings to your grandmother, Miss Dulcie Brooks in Montreal, Canada. Good to know that you're there listening to us on Power 106 FM. Julia B. out of New York is also on board. She says, good afternoon, Dervan and listeners around the world. Good afternoon, Julia B. And all the very best. Angela, good afternoon. Angela, who has been vacationing in Jamaica for quite some time now. And we're not going to grudge her, as we say in Jamaican parlance. Let her enjoy her stay. This one says, Mr. Malcolm, I don't know of anyone who wants a stone to move and go to the stone and talk to the stone, asking it to move. It will not move unless you move it, no matter how much you know about stones inside out. Thank you very much for your message, Horace, otherwise known as Spider. Miss June says, did we read that one already? Yes, we read that one already. But there was another piece to it when she said, this is from June in Norway. She says, we had a nice little family trip to Germany. And they're all smiles. Thanks for sharing, Ms. June, in Oslo, Norway. All the very best. Let's go back to the phone line. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, my dear. I'm not asking how you are. I hear you.
Good afternoon, Miss Mervis. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to the staff and all the listeners all in Jamaica and across the globe. And in reference to my mission, I speak on behalf of the God of the national anthem to whom we make our pledge. And interestingly, I opened my Bible this morning and I see that verse that says, lift up your voice like a trumpet and tell my people their transgression. Isaiah 58, and when I look on the other side, I see 59 saying the Lord's hand is not short nor his ears heavy that he cannot hear and whatever. But our iniquity that separate between us and our God. Now I'm giving a message to deliver to international. Did you hear that one?
Yes.
To the international God to deliver it. In truth and in fact, I have said on several programs already that the Most High God of our national anthem where we sing Jehovah, God of creation. Then I must give every diplomat, every country connected to Jamaica, give them a copy of the national anthem. Make sure they get a copy of the national anthem and a copy of the national pledge. and underline that part which says so that Jamaica may under God. That section. Now this might sound very strange, but he'll tell me to tell some international to shut up their mouth. Shut up in some of the things they're saying about Jamaica instead of tell them, and someone tell them to shut up. Because I can recall and bring back to my memory when people were told from Canada not to visit Jamaica. And they, at the same time, their Prime Minister was holidaying in here. Now, the United States is saying that people should not visit Jamaica from there. And in truth and in fact, because of crime, they have, according to news, they have 48 mass shooting up there since January. And the discovery made by the police in the news yesterday of 60 odd guns and whatever coming from up in the United States, who's supposed to be well technologically set up in them what do you call it, wherever them wharf and wherever. How come so much guns coming down to Jamaica from up the United States? And that basis, the Almighty tell me to tell United States to shut up and leave Jamaica alone. May I deliver a message. Shut up. Because a long time them guns coming down here. And one of them presidents come down here and all them chat about was sodomy. We're a little country just developing. And my God Almighty, what's up? What's so much guns coming from upper US? Them can't see the guns coming through them port? We're bleeding down here talking rubbish about people not to visit here. The guns are made up there and the guns are shipped from up there. That's all the Almighty tell me to say today, you know. Yeah, some other national matter and say when the election finish, we can speak that and say, them international country were trying to mess up Jamaica and go on like them allies and what. Jehovah Jireh, the God of the national anthem of creation, so if you tell them to shut up. Those are the words. Shut up and allow this nation to grow. We're not going to take on sodomy and not all like those. So they try to pressure we are not in no way. Because we believe in a God and we believe we make male and female, created them, and we know we come from a female. And you know, I went online the other day, I was reading news. I don't remember if it's the Observer with one of those news I see, where these two transgender persons were placed in one of them prisons of the United States and impregnate two women. So them a male, a female, and then put them in the female prison. And they end up impregnating two other women in there. I don't know what is it, why they keep on talking about people not to visit Jamaica and when you check for them crime situation is something else. The King of Kings and Lord of Lords, where we sing to the anthem too, and make we pledge too. So if we tell them if they have no good intention about Jamaica, shut up. Because it's blessed, and it's only because we stupid down here. We have some leaders who don't understand how to lead, manage and develop a country while it's safe so. They love to beg and borrow and give a business. See? So tell them, shut up. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the call, Miss Mervis. All the best.
Yes.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
beneficiaries. The past payment cycle begins on February 19, 2024. Post offices and payment agencies will deliver payments based on last names up to March 4, 2024. Check the Weekend Star to find out when and where you should collect. If you miss your date, you must collect between March 5 and March 6, 2024. For more information, call Pat at 876-922-8007 or visit the ministry's website at www.mlss.gov.jm. Path, advancing your family, developing Jamaica. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon.
Mr. Carter,
Sorry, just a moment. Just a moment. Sounds like you're in an empty room, so we're getting a bit of an echo as well.
But it's raining outside. But Dervan, with Trump and politics and liar. We judge against and make the ruling before the case even try. I tell about grave versus city of New York. The Democrats will lynch any opponent. They will disappear court orders, life and Jamaica would never look. I was just looking at the 13 famous American black history that are going to come to the news not to receive. And that's what Marcus Garvey name, where is the most important, is the Renaissance man in America. And the one of the NAACC, the boys and all of them. And you say, method. People must understand is Democrats support transgender, sodomy, and Democrats never free black people. Trump let the ice vote the black in Republican president things mix. And it's moved from 25 to 30%. Americans are reading and speak up now. People learn the truth. The Lincoln Project was a Democrat. Lincoln was the first Republican government. And Democrats will lynch black people the most and pretend they love. Love the best.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for the call. All right. Let's move on. 876-922-4112 to 5. Taking your calls also on the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Raskava says, greetings, sir. I am very happy that someone or two heard my voice to bring back Black History or Story Month and are not still saying it's an American thing. Give thanks. Thank you very much for your message, Raskaba. And Miss Evadne White says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Hope all is well with you and all at Poro 106 and all in class today. Keep safe and enough love. God is good, so let there be peace, says Evadne White. Thank you, Miss Evadne, for your message of peace. Also, Patrick says, Sir Dervan, Oslo, Norway is a beautiful and clean city, and so is Norway. I must say it's not that comfortable during winter, and most of my Jamaican friends wish they were in the Caribbean. Anyone going to Norway should take the Red Train to get a wonderful view of the country, and especially their waterfalls and towns. The Norwegians respect and protect their history, and no wonder June loves the country. Thank you, Patrick, for your message, and all the very best. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. Coming up at 3:30, it will be time for Safety Speaks. And doing duties this week is Alfonso Grenell of Grenell's Driving School. We'll hear when he gets on the areas that he's going to be covering this afternoon. So you can listen out for that in just about 10 minutes' time. In the meantime, we continue with more of your feedback. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Good afternoon, Velta Wilson. Thank you very much for coming aboard both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM as we continue to stream live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And let's remind you of the numbers, 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And let's go across. I think we said hi to Donovan Campbell already. So let's move on. Thank you very much, Donovan Campbell, for checking in, and all the very best. So who was it now? Earlier on, Mr. Carter it was, who was making reference to the brain and the use of the fish tank with the fish and so on and so forth. Well, there's a feature in New Scientist magazine on the mind. And the headline is, Why Forgetting Things is a Key Part of the Way Your Brain Works. Why forgetting things is a key part of the way your brain works. Forgetfulness can be frustrating, but cognitive scientists reckon it underpins the brain's capacity to efficiently process sensory information and its unique ability to generalize our knowledge. There are few things more frustrating than trying to recall a fact or memory and finding it has gone missing. You might ask yourself whether it is the start of mental decline or the onset of a degenerative brain condition. What you probably don't think is that forgetting is a good thing. What you probably don't think is that forgetting is a good thing, but it can be. New research into memory suggests that it is actually a healthy and necessary brain function, and one that is becoming increasingly important in our rapidly changing lives. You want to be able to adapt to your environment because your environment is always changing. But if you're overly fixated on your first experience, you're not going to behave adaptively, says Thomas Ryan at Trinity College in Dublin, in Ireland. Intriguingly, his research also hints that forgetting memories remain in the brain, so could, if necessary, be restored. You got that? Forgotten memories remain in the brain, so could, if necessary, be restored. Bring them back to life. Everyday forgetting, like not being able to recall what you ate for dinner last week, is called natural forgetting. This is in contrast to pathological forgetting, which results from brain injuries or conditions such as Alzheimer's. Far from being a problem, natural forgetting underpins one of our most unique and powerful traits or ability to generalize. Though there are times when having an ultra-detailed memory is invaluable, like when revising for exams or acting as a witness to a crime, we can't generalize without playing fast and loose with specifics, says Edwin Robertson at the University of Glasgow, UK. And we could go on. We'll leave it there for now. But natural forgetting may have another advantage. It's easy to come up with behaviors that you can train an animal or human to do. And then in 2 weeks' time, they have forgotten it, says Ryan. We've let ourselves think that's just because of time going by and the memory degrading. But actually, over that 2-week period, the individual is experiencing all kinds of things. And as a result of those things it's experiencing, it's actually changing its expectations. That matters because expectations play a key role in an emerging picture of the brain as a prediction machine, where conscious experience consists of predictions about what the brain expects to perceive based on what it detects via the senses. The brain is a fascinating thing, isn't it? Let's see if we can get in maybe just a couple of minutes of a caller who has been holding on our text line and WhatsApp number, the 365-3346 number. Sorry about that. We just have about 3 minutes before the break and the feature, the regular Tuesday afternoon feature. Hello? Oh, you didn't hear anything I said? Sorry about that.
Hello, Dervan. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I was just letting you know, unfortunately for you, sorry, that we have a feature coming up now in another 2 minutes. I don't think that's enough time for you, but it will be finished in half an hour. Yes.
Dervan, I'm in a militant mood, so I'll wait until this segment.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. A couple minutes to go before Safety Speaks make that a minute to go before Safety Speaks with Alfonso Granell of Granell's Driving School. That's coming up in a matter of a minute. Parchment Babasu says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too, Parchment Babasu. Good to have you on board Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. And missed a call from Steve in Toronto, Canada. Sorry about that, Steve. And Patrick says, please inform Raskava that it's not only his voice people are hearing to teach Black history by voices like Professor Shepard, Jerry Small, myself, and others on this and other stations. I remembered Michael Manley and Spree Bertram in the 70s while attending Kingston Technical High School. I was first told of the many inventions by Black people, their struggles, and their contributions to the development of this world.
Class is in session. Hour 106. Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we have company in this week's edition of Safety Speaks. Our guest is Alfonso Grenell of Grenell's Driving School, and he has joined us here in the studios of Power 106 FM for this week's edition of Safety Speaks. Good afternoon to you, Alfonso Grenell. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good afternoon to you, to Dervan, and to all your listeners. I'm doing well. Give thanks.
Indeed. And how are plans coming along for the what do you call it now?
Crash No More 2024 Defensive Driving Workshop to be held on the 27th of February at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. That is going fairly well. We still looking for more people, especially based on what is happening on our roads. How do you navigate safely among all the madness from the political campaigns and motorcades? This is serious. However, it's more than just navigating an environment where people seem to be reckless and just doing their own thing. It's about always driving defensively. And we believe the workshop will provide necessary skills, necessary tips, necessary techniques to help those who will be in attendance to drive in such a way as to not have a motor vehicle collision.
Speaking of collisions continue and sadly continue to be fatal. What's the latest? Was it today? Earlier today?
Earlier today. I don't remember the exact parish, but there are at least 2 fatalities, and there are 3 people who are seriously injured from, I don't know if it's both vehicles, or at least one of the vehicles. And this is what we're trying to avoid. Clear day. Yes, the roads seem to be wet, so it seemed like somebody was driving to match the prevailing conditions, and in this case, the weather condition. And the place seemed to be, when I saw a picture of what took place or what was reported on, seemed to be some fog as well. So it's very important for a person to drive differently in those conditions than when it is a clear day, when the surface of the road is dry. Because once you decide to stop, it's going to take you a longer time to stop when the surface of the road is wet.
But you would think that's something that everybody understands in general terms, that the conditions, if the conditions have changed, then we have to act accordingly.
Indeed, we need to change our driving behavior. But again, Dervan, this is an interesting thing when it comes to driving. A lot of assumptions are made. We do things, we change our behavior based on the information we'd have received when we were younger. As we grew up, you are who you are today because of the information that was inputted in you, if you will, by your parents, by the training that you have done in terms of media and so on. And we don't take those things for granted. We expect people to act in a certain way based on the knowledge that they would have gained. However, when it comes to driving, it seems like we expect a miracle to work, that people can naturally do the right thing, even though they were never taught the right thing.
In fact, I usually say you can tell a lot about a person based on what they do when they're in the traffic environment.
Exactly. And the attitude is key. We have seen it. As again, I think I mentioned it about 2 weeks ago with you, that we do driver assessment. And that's where we recognize that there are a lot of people out there who have driver's license who don't have the fundamentals. Let me give you an example. I was assessing a driver just recently, and I asked him what's the first rule of the road. He doesn't know. And it just clearly said, I don't know, sir. And then I saw a traffic sign, which is a double bend to the right. And I asked him what that sign means. Zigzag, sir. Zigzag. He doesn't know what it is saying. It's just that it looked like a Z, and he just said a zigzag. And the point I'm making is that not until we recognize that driving is as important to safety as several other things that we have to do as a nation. And as I said, as a nation, because what is happening on our roads now, it would seem like both political party don't seem to recognize the magnitude of what is happening as people traverse our roadway. I had to take on myself, to use a Jamaican expression, on the nomination day. Because I was on going up Olop Road near to the police commissioner's office. And there was a stream of vehicles coming from a nomination there, I won't call which party, and took over 3 of the lanes going down. 2 supposed to be going up. I had to quickly move to the far left lane in order not to be hit by a speeding motorist. And these are, and I don't know, I noticed none of our, and I'm not being political, I noticed none of our leaders on either side say that what is being done on our road is illegal. But the protrusion is still wrong, it's still against the Road Traffic Act. And what we're seeing is lawless behavior, reckless driving behavior. And reckless driving is incorrect. And even in talking about those who have died, there's nobody from either side who have said that what is happening is illegal. It's just wrong. Dervan, I might get myself in a bit of trouble here, but if we are serious about changing what is happening in our country, when so far we're just one different from last year. Last year, at this time, we had 49 deaths. Today, we have 48 year to date. And I don't know if this 48 actually, included 2 that have died today. And these are life. These are not just stats. These are not just, you're thinking about, this happened. No, these are people who have connected to people.
And these are the things that we need to face down when they turn up or show up. It's a kind of leadership that is necessary for the kind of transformation which is essential in a free and democratic society.
You're right. It can't be, and I seriously don't want to seem political. It can't be just about some votes. If our people are dying because of what is happening on our roads, then somebody have to say enough is enough. Let's find a different way. Let's find a new way. Let us put that behind us and try find a more creative way to get our voters involved in the process, get our voters, interested in going to the poll to cast their vote, because it's a right that we need to exercise. But I know we're talking about road safety here for today. And I'm just honestly concerned about, seeing a lady lose one leg, a 15-year-old. His entire future is ahead of him. A very bright young man from what I'm hearing. And his life is just snuffed out because, reckless driving behavior, probably shouldn't have stepped out, and then somebody else just take him down. Let's hope we can see a change. And of course, my mandate as a school driving instructor is to continue to preach the message of defensive driving, where we can see, people's lives are being saved by practicing good defensive driving techniques. And we know what is entailing that, and that's why the workshop. I remember when we spoke the very first time in 2023, Dervan, I have decided that, it's not just good enough to say things are not good. It's not just good enough to say things are not going the right way. It's not just good to say that, boy, too much reckless driving on our roadway. I'm privileged to be exposed to defensive driving at probably the highest level because I'm privileged also to be a member of the International Advisory Committee on Defensive Driving. And I'm talking about this is a global thing. It's a 40-member committee. And these practices are used across the globe to reduce the number of road deaths. So I want to use some of this information that I have. Hopefully that when people come in the space where the information is shared, they will not just take it to themselves, but they will start to practice it and encourage people that they know to do the same thing.
Yeah, and it is hoped as well. Well, I don't know what your presentation will generally be, but it would help to just keep the word out there or get it out there just to encourage more people to sign up.
Indeed. And the thing is, this has to be sustained. Last year, we had a reduction of 60 something less deaths. If we can't just get
It's a lot of
complacent.
lives.
Yeah, indeed, but we just can't get complacent. We should now be pushing even more to see that we can get below that 300 mark. At least we need to get below the 400 because we still had 420 something deaths last year, even though we saved 60 plus lives. And the implication of that to family members and co-workers and friends and associates. So what we want to see is that at least next year or this year, we get it below 400. That's going to be calling for all the relevant stakeholders to put in their penny worth of effort to see to it that if I have a child that needs to learn to drive, ensure that the child learn to drive properly. Let them go to the road code. Let them get the knowledge to ensure that when they go there on their own, not that you can't eliminate total risk, but you minimize the risk of that person.
Yes, indeed. Hold it right there. Alfonso Grenell is our host this week on Safety Speaks during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. We're going to the break. After the break, we come back with the closing segment of this week's edition of Safety Speaks.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 3:45. The Jamaica Teaching Council.
So everything is set for you to. Everything is set for you to be emceeing the
Alfonso Grenell of Grenell's Driving School, Managing Director of Grenell's Driving School, is our guest on this afternoon's edition of Safety Speaks. And we've been getting some useful information and just some general thoughts and expressions on matters pertaining to road safety and driving defensively, etc. And of course, importantly, the Crash No More 2024, which is scheduled for next week, Tuesday, at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. It's an opportunity to improve the level of awareness on these matters as far as members of the motoring public are concerned, and in particular those who drive for a living.
That's right.
And those who are involved in managing a whole fleet or fleets of vehicles,
right.
etc.
Yeah, as Devin, as you rightly said, let us just look firstly at those who drive for a living. I'm not picking on the taximen, but it is evident that some of them could do well with some training in terms of their attitude. There's a mindset, though, of people who drive to earn their living, meaning number of trips you make is more money you get. So that's predisposition is a big thing. I heard the culture is that you are paid after the owner of the vehicle is paid. So if the owner has to get $15,000 a day, for argument's sake, you won't get any money unless you now earn at least $16,000 for that day. So you
earn the boss money first, and then you go,
and then you get
you go look yours.
Exactly. And therefore, just think about the discipline to stay within the speed limit. That's, if you're not disciplined already, that's going to create a different problem. And this switching from lanes to lane, running through a amber, or running through the red light, or moving into the lane where you should turn right, but you're going straight. We have seen all of this sort of behavior. And a lot of times what happens, because I know of a couple of people who operate taxis for a living, and the owner person collect the money, but it goes back into parts.
Okay.
Because the constant braking and heavy braking, this part soon go, front end part soon go, brake shoes gone, tires are going to wear faster.
Wonder how many people factor in all of those.
That's good question. Good question. All they see is quick money. I remember a friend of mine that worked at a company. He had a couple of minibuses, and he had an older man that drive a 15-seater for him, and he would seemingly bring in less money, but he told me that's the most profit he makes is from that vehicle, because people deliberately wait for him because they like the way he drives. He doesn't take the risk. So once he understand, there's almost a bus load waiting for him to take them to their destination safely. Less risk, less damage, less wear and tear. So indirectly, you might seem to be earning less from this driver, but in the long run, you spend less on his vehicle, and therefore you save more. And these are some of the things that, people who operate, say, these public passenger vehicles, the owners, need to take into consideration. You don't lose out when your driver is trained and he knows how the vehicle is supposed to properly operate, and he drive it accordingly. In the long run, you make more money because the mechanic don't live at your house, because you constantly have to be feeding him, because he has work to do. And these are some of the things that we discuss in the workshop as well. We look at knowing your vehicle. We look at what even some symbols on the dashboard mean. And not until people recognize some of these things, they're gonna have a problem on saving money. And I'm hoping that somebody's listening that have a fleet of buses, taxis, and that they would want their person or their drivers to be trained in this defensive driving workshop.
What can you tell us with respect to the general response from members of the public? I mean, especially those whose eyes have caught the ads, whether on TV or listening on the radio, etc. Have you been noticing any greater push towards those who are trying to tidy up their driving skills or otherwise?
I would love to say yes, Dervan, but the honest truth is, I'm seeing a last minute rush, and I think this is almost like a culture where we have a lot of persons sort of wait on the last minute. But what the problem, the challenge I have as the organizer of this event is I have to tell the hotel how many persons I'm going to have, so that they can prepare the refreshment for the break and the lunch, because we're going to be providing this. I have to print material for the handouts. I can't wait until a day before to print these. And therefore, if 50 people come after I already print the book, they put me in a really, really bind. So what I'm hoping that those who are listening right now, if they can call 770-8586 or 977-5249 and get information as to how they can register. A matter of fact, Dervan, I'm willing, if we have any young person below the age of 20 who call, we give them a 20% discount. Because younger people need to get this information. And the earlier they get it and start to practice it, we're going to see the ripple effect down the road. You know, sometimes we want the result immediate, and something you just don't get it. Start somewhere with a target in mind, and then ultimately it will materialize.
That's right. Yeah. Useful advice there. And what of those who are anxious to start learning to drive, but for whatever reason, they're being pressured to say just this by somebody, family member or otherwise? He said, "Don't worry, man. I will."
Bad move.
teach you."
Bad move. Wrong move. And this is, I remember a lady came and told me about how many lessons a child needs to be ready to go for the test. And I said, he won't be adequately trained. As a matter of fact, I challenged a person. I said, he's now at the University of the West Indies. How much you pay for his school fee? And when she told me, I said, what you want to do? Circumvent learning to drive properly and buy his casket? No, you don't want to do that. You're willing to spend money for his secular education. Nothing is wrong with that. But don't you care about whether or not when he gets the car and leave home, he's going to come back home? And seriously, I really hope parents realize how important it is for their children to be safe. We know what happened. I think it was towards the end of the year with a young lady who died when a Benz SUV, or I don't remember the name of the type of the vehicle, ran in the back of a parked truck on Mandela Highway. She had just finished her degree, just coming for vacation in Jamaica, supposed to go back to the United States to work, but never made it back because of a crash that took her young life, the prime of her life. This can be avoided with defensive driving, Dervan. I don't have no doubt in my mind. Once people are taught and they practice what they're taught, they will see the reduction in no way.
It's like added protection.
Exactly. And we're hoping that, I'm hoping that we at least have 120 people on the 27th, because there's enough people out there who need this information, that need to participate. And I'm hoping that those who are listening will realize, call 977-5249, 770-8586 and register for this course. This life-saving. I have no doubt,
It is.
in the United States, I'm just use that as an example. They use this training for people whose license would be suspended. They said, instead of your license, he's suspended. Do this course, or we don't suspend it. Instead of tickets, points, demerit points, they said, do this course, and we don't add the points. Unless we just want to make money. But if we're talking about saving lives, then this is a remedy. This, and it's not upon us.
Pragmatic.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just hoping that hopefully the ministers, I'm very likely busy now, but listening, these are approaches that we can use to reduce the number of crashes and deaths on our roadways.
That is priceless.
Indeed. Can't put a value to life.
Mm-mm.
Can't. And there's too many, man. Too many of us are dying with a country of our size to be having over 400 deaths. There's a country that's almost two times our population that is only having 93 deaths. We don't have serious enforcement of our laws in terms of road safety, the road code. We need to make sure. I can't see a policeman drive beside drive a motorbike beside somebody that's riding a motorbike or driving a motorbike without any helmet, and he just goes scot-free, nothing is said to him. We have people with a helmet, and it's on the tank of the bike, or it's put up on the top of their head because it's not strapped on. It must be strapped on, otherwise it's no use. If we want to see change, Dervan, defensive driving must be enforced in terms of a way of training people to drive. And secondly, the police or those who are responsible have to ensure that the rules of the road are maintained and enforced.
Indeed. And so, key data before we wrap. We have 2 minutes left in the segment, Alfonso Grenell. Information that you want to stay with the listeners from here on in.
One other thing I just want to point out is the workshop that is coming up.
Yes.
Because I think this workshop is designed to make a difference for those who drive, even for pedestrian, but the emphasis really is driver training. And therefore, the date for this workshop is 27th, Tuesday, the 27th. I just want to say the day after the local government election. So hopefully that will click for somebody. So it's on the 27th at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and it starts at 8:30 with registration, and the cost is $15,000. For you get course material, you get a break, you get lunch, you get certification. However, if you call and say that you heard us on both sides of the story, your story will change. You'll get a discount of 20% on that figure. Call now and make it happen, because you will definitely don't regret paying that $13,000 for the valuable information. A matter of fact, the life-saving information that you'd have received.
Alfonso Grenell, Managing Director of Grenell's Driving School. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon on this week's edition of Safety Speaks.
Thank you very much, Dervan. It's my pleasure, and I hope our program today has made a difference for at least one person, but we'll hope far more than one. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Let's go to the break and come back with more in just a moment. Yes, sir. Well done.
Thank you. Trying my best.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Asha Ash in the UK, more specifically in, where is she again? She is in somewhere here, the information is at. But Asha Ash, good afternoon to you. Yeah, she's in Southampton in that region. All right, so here's the caller who had called us earlier on and was on waiting for about 17 minutes. It's now 10 seconds this trip since we took the call. Now 15 seconds. Let's listen up. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling again.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
Earlier I told you that I was in a militant mode, sir.
I wonder what happened.
Dervan, I'm wondering, do you know the state of a country when somebody say we are on the edge of tyranny?
Who said that?
No, I'm asking you, what would you consider the condition of the country if somebody say Jamaica is on on the edge of tyranny?
Yeah, well, usually with that kind of a perspective, it's a matter of someone feeling its impact or not. There are those who might be saying, look, this is serious. We have to shut this down now. We have to act. And there's another scenario where some people are saying, well, it's the same thing that happened last week. So what we will do is try and fix it next week. It's a matter of perspectives. It's a matter of people and how they feel about a moment, a situation, an incident, a country, and how they respond to that.
So I'm saying when we are now in a democracy whereby 8 years ago there was a cost analysis of the repair of the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and it was said that it would cost about
2 billion.
Yeah. To remedy that hospital, Dervan. And later we found out a few years after it was then 4 million. And then we hear it cost 8 million, and then since 23 we have heard that it would cost 14 million, and now we are hearing that in 2024 it would, and it is going to cost over 21 million, sir. And I'm saying, the van, if it is the state of our country whereby people who is there to fix the problem that we have, and they can just put a cost on anything at any price, and there is no one to said no, that cannot be right.
But surely they can't put they can't put their hands in their pocket and come out with money and say, here's 20 billion or 2 million or however, whatever the price is, we need to fix this and fix that. They're supposed to be working with technocrats and others within the respective field to give them all the details that they need so that the ultimate organization or institution is able to fix that situation once and for all. So accountability is what counts here. Who was supposed to do what? Who didn't do what? What did you know? When did you know it? What did you do about it? Somebody has to answer.
And Dervan, we are talking about checks and balance.
Yes.
And they are supposed to be at least some form of oversight.
Responsibility, yes.
Committee and Dervan and the head. When we are saying that we have the head of our country, and it is going almost 3 the Dervan and the head of our country, we does not know the integrity of this person. This person have not put in their integrity report, Dervan. It does not argue well for us.
Yeah, well,
is it Dervan?
Well, as I've always said, and I maintain and I continue to say, there is only one way to lead, and that is by example. One way.
Dervan, and this is the reason why I said, because I was listening to your preamble at the start of your program today, and I was saying Dervan is, but Dervan, I'm going to get more serious, Dervan. Dervan, many Jamaican is admiring the U.S. affair, Dervan, the U.S. After the U.S. administer their welfare, they make sure say everything when it come on to oversight and checks and balance, and them want everybody, including the president, including the president.
That is how it's supposed to be. That is how it's supposed to be.
But Dervan, America does not achieve that just so. It takes 4 Dervan, if you study, if 4 presidents were assassinated, Dervan, for America to reach that state. And I'm reminding you also that the United Kingdom does not reach. Yes. Oh, the lords under the cartel case. Dervan, you was watching it.
Some of it, yes.
Dervan, our DPP were in the background biting off our fingernail.
I don't know about that part.
DPP was in the background saying, "Oh, I'm just listening to my daddy." Dervan for the youth.
Who said they're listening to their daddy? Who said that?
No, I'm just saying that Miss Paula Low must be saying, I am listening to my daddy, my white daddy, Billy Joel. Yes, Dervan, the masters who wear that wig in the courts of England. And Dervan, for those Englishmen to reach that stage, when in the 15th century, the peasants in England were so grumpy that they were not getting enough justice and equal rights. from the government that they decide to beheaded a king to show that they were disgruntled. And many Jamaicans just sit back and feel that that country just reach a stage with just people going in parliament and doing anything that them feel like them can wake up this morning and say, well, I'm going to put forward a 1.7 trillion budget, and the Jamaican people must have to like it. Damn it, Van, I'm telling you, it's a shame on us.
All right.
It's a shame, Van.
We hear you loud and clear.
We are more than 60-year-old, and we are clanging about independent, and we are still a child. We are still
Well, the good book says a little child shall lead them.
Dervan, the next Independent Day, I am not going to shout out independent, no, because this cartel case show us up so much that we are not independent. We are not independent. And I'm telling you, the Van, we have to do better. We have to do better.
And we have to take a break. One moment, please.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:15.
Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the optical zone, offering exceptionally
Thank you very much for staying with us as we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. We're being reminded by, who is this now? Somebody reminding us. Martha, is that Martha Corbett Bo, I think, reminding us that tomorrow, the 21st of February, is International Mother Language Day. International Mother Language Day. The 2024 celebrations Mother Tongue Education supports learning, literacy, and the acquisition of additional languages. The event, organized by UNESCO on the 21st of February, that's tomorrow, will include 2 panel discussions on multilingual education as a key component of quality learning. The event, organized by UNESCO, the International Mother Language Day event, organized by UNESCO for tomorrow, the 21st of February, will include 2 panel discussions on multilingual education as a key component of quality learning. Thank you very much, Dr. Martha Corbett Bo, for that gentle nudge, that reminder of International Mother Language Day, which comes up tomorrow. Well, we're almost out of time, but perhaps a little, maybe just a little more time to get in a message or two on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And I see Ricardo reminding us that the Bible is the world's most translated document. Thank you very much. As usual, we share information, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And so we get ready to close today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. And we can't thank you enough for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 20th of February, 2024. And someone just sent us the road traffic fatalities statistics. It popped up so quickly as it popped off, but it's here somewhere. So perhaps another day, all things being well, we'll share the data with you. So thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, as we said, for today, Tuesday, the 20th of February, 2024. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall wipe them away, nor all your tears wash them away. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
Bye.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.